Bonjour tout le monde. So there is a confusion between three prepositions in French. We have depuis, which can mean since normally, pendant, for, during, for. So for as for somebody, for 3 days, So finally we can have the difference explained. So this is a big confusion, but they can all be translated as, for in English, but they are not interchangeable. So, depuis is an action that continues until now. We use depuis when an action began in the past and is still continuing today. So, in English, we usually use a present perfect. I have lived here for 3 years. But in French, we use a present tense. So, j'habite ici depuis 3 ans. So, in English is I have lived here, but in French is I live here. Depuis 3 ans, so that would be like since 3 years, but it's kind of incorrect in English, so for 3 years. We could have said j'habite ici pendant 3 ans, but it's kind of wrong in French. So, j'habite ici depuis 3 ans. Let's say je travaille ici depuis 2020. So I have worked here since 2020. So again, present tense in French, present perfect in English. And so it can be like depuis can be since or for, depending on what comes after. Here we have since 2020, sorry, because it's a date, it's specific. But after, we can also have depuis as for a period of time. Like for instance, elle étudie le français depuis 6 mois. She has studied French for 6 months. Nous sommes mariés depuis 20 ans. So we have been married for 20 years. So depuis can be followed by a specific year, a specific date, or a period of time. So that's why it can mean since or for. For a period of time, since when we have to 2020, 1995, etc., etc. So the important and the idea is the situation is still true now. So you can use depuis with a specific starting point. J'habite ici depuis lundi. I have lived here since Monday. Il travaille dans cette entreprise depuis 2018. So it's a specific starting point. He has worked in this company since 2018. So remember, depuis can mean since or for, and the action continues now. Second point, pendant. Pendant is a complete period of time. So we use pendant to express the duration of an action or situation. It often describes a finished period. So, j'ai travaillé pendant 3 heures. I have worked, or I worked, for 3 hours. Elle a vécu au Canada pendant 5 ans. She has lived, or she lived in Canada for 5 years, so period of time. Nous avons parlé pendant toute la soirée. So it's like we have talked, or we talked throughout the evening, or all evening long. We can also use pendant to mean during. Pendant les cours, j'ai pris des notes. So during the class, I took notes. Pendant les vacances, je me repose. So it can be a generality here. So during the holidays, I relax. So unlike depuis, pendant does not necessarily tell us whether the action continues now. It simply focuses on the duration of the action. Okay, for example, j'ai étudié pendant 2 heures. So I studied or I have studied for 2 hours. The 2 hour period is complete. So the action is completed. Okay, pendant. As for the other one, it's not, I have lived in Paris since 2020. It can continue in the present. Okay, so pendant completed action, j'ai étudié pendant 2 heures. Remember, pendant can mean for or during a complete period. And the last point will be pour, P-O-U-R, as a planned duration. We use pour when we talk about a planned or expected duration. It is especially common with trips, a stay, or future plans. So, je pars en vacances pour 2 semaines. So, here in French, it's a present tense, but it can also have the value of a future, a near future. So, I'm going to France for 2 weeks. Elle va vivre à Paris pour un an, ou pendant un an, we could have said that. So, she's going to live in Paris for 1 year. Or we could have said, nous avons loué une maison pour 3 jours. We rented or we have rented a house for 3 days. So the important idea here is this is a duration that we plan or expect. So you can often have an idea of a future tense. I'm going to be there for 3 days, or I'm here for 3 days. You can also have a present tense. Now, if we compare two phrases, let's say je pars en France dans 2 semaines. It's like I'm leaving for France in 2 weeks. So I'm not talking really, it's a period of time, but it's like dans 2 semaines tells us when we will leave, not how long we're going to stay. And je pars en France pour 2 semaines. I'm going to France for 2 weeks. So, pour 2 semaines tell us how long I plan to stay. Okay? So, dans 2 semaines in 2 weeks, pour 2 semaines for 2 weeks, basically. Okay. So, remember, pour is for a planned duration. So, the essential comparison, so if we say, for instance, j'habite au Mexique depuis 10 ans, I have lived in Mexico for 10 years, that means I still live here. J'ai habité au Canada pendant 3 ans. I have lived in Canada for 3 years. The period is finished. And if I say je pars en France pour 3 ans, I'm going to France for 3 years. This is a planned duration. I'm planning on staying there for 3 years. Okay? So a simple memory trick will be ask yourself 3 questions. Is it still happening now? You can use depuis. Is it a completed period of time? You can use pendant. And is it a planned duration? Pour. Okay? So, if you are looking for exercises practice, let me know. I can send you some exercises. You can contact me here, or you can also contact me through my email. I think you can find it here. If you have any problems, you can leave a comment. Another thing I would like to conclude with, I am not interested in growing this channel. I'm just here to help my students. So the people who are trying to contact me, trying to make me spend a lot of money in order just to have a lot of things and content, and I don't want to change this channel. I leave it the way it is. I'm gonna keep it as human as possible. AI as being invading our private lives. I'm not a big fan of it. And I will use some images because I'm not a big, I don't have a lot of time, but I don't like when people propose me different, different services. And this website will stay as natural, as human as possible. Sur ce, passez une bonne journée. Au revoir. À bientôt.